Morgan Griffin and I grabbed what every 12-year-old girl needs in her bag. Blankets, check. Ham, check. My dad's hunting knife, got it. Matches and a bop it, just in case we got bored. My brother Kyle appeared as if out of nowhere and said, "What are you guys doing?" And I said, "Shut up, Kyle. We're going camping." Morgan and I suited up with my dad's army green camo duffel bag and headed off into the wild wilderness of the North Georgia mountains, deep, deep into the forest, which was actually just my parents' backyard. But regardless, Morgan Griffin had just revealed to me that she had never been camping before. Now, how you grow up in Murray County, Georgia, and never experience the joys of the great outdoors, it was sad. But when I thought about it, it kind of made sense because Morgan Griffin was what you'd call a skinny, pretty. And at the time, I was a chubby, funny. Like this one time when I said, "Hey Morgan, want to see me shake my fats?" And I shook my fat really hard in her face, and she threw up. From laughing, not, I wasn't that fat. Anyways, Morgan Griffin was the kind of girl that everyone would fight over to sit next to in church, and if they didn't get to, they would cry. Now, Morgan had the nicest clothes, the newest toys, and a tanning bed right in the middle of her house. She glowed like the morning sun. Morgan's family didn't necessarily have more money than mine did. They just chose to spend it differently, whereas they would spend money on things like luxurious vacations and brand new cars and her mom's boob job. You know, fancy stuff. Whereas my family would spend money on things like shotguns and fast go-karts and the new zero-turn lawnmower. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's like the Maserati of lawnmowers. It was awesome. Country stuff. And Morgan loved it. My house for Morgan was an escape. It was a place that she could come and do all these crazy things that she wanted to do. Like one time she got a bunch of vanilla wafers and cut up cheddar cheese, put them on top, shoved it in the oven, cooked it, then ate it. It was disgusting, but it made her feel free. And on this particular day, Morgan and I had free reign over 65 acres of my parents' property. We stepped through the tree line and avoided all of the briar bushes until we came upon our perfect campsite. I got to work picking up stones and strategically placing them in a ring because what do you do when you go camping? You build an awesome fire and show Morgan just how cool and outdoorsy you are. And to my childlike surprise and wonder, it's really easy to start a fire in the middle of a drought. As we were settling into our warm fire and I was prepping the ham to be cooked, and Morgan was sharpening sticks with a knife I just gave her into weapons, my brother Kyle appeared as if out of nowhere from this place that we had begun to call civilization. Now, a little bit about my older brother Kyle. Boy genius, somewhat of a scientist, a good kid. But sometimes his little science experiments could get him into a lot of trouble. Like this one time when he called his friend Nathan Young on my parents' home phone and then shoved it in a microwave and turned it on just to see what it sounded like on the other end. And of course the phone exploded and there was hissing, whatever, Kyle, it was dumb. Anyways, my brother appeared from the woods and he looked at me and Morgan and he said, "I bet I can make that fire a lot better." And I said, Shut up, Kyle. And then he went back into the woods, reappeared with a giant old refrigerator box that he and Isa McDonald had fished out of the dumpster, drug into the woods, spray painted camo because, I don't know, boys. He reaches behind him, picks up this giant, dried out refrigerator box, shakes off the dirt, and then throws it into my perfectly constructed fire pit. And it exploded and fire spewed out of the rocks and climbed up the trees. I looked around for anything to smother the flames. Matches, no. Ham, no. A puppet won't work. All I could see was my brother Kyle, pale, running from my parents' house, and Morgan's over here, still knife in hand, screaming her head off because we know she's having the time of her life. And I just got really, really quiet. The next thing I remember was standing on my parents' back porch, hand in hand, with Morgan Griffin. And we just watched it all burn. The fire trucks, the volunteer firefighters, the forestry department, the bulldozer, cousin Donnie, who's not really my cousin, but whatever, he came, and my neighbors all showed up to help us put out this fire, or at least watch, that we just started. You know, some people say I'm a little country, and they're not wrong. The fire did a lot of damage, and who cares whose fault it was, Kyle? Just watch it. Because when I was standing there on the back porch and I looked out and I was seeing flames and smoke, I realized that I had something that not everyone gets to have, and I never wanted to lose it. Now, it took a long time for it to grow back, but it did.